The ultimate Christmas betrayal. A Santa Claus accused of indecently assaulting a young child who'd come to sit on his lap.
They always come sit on the lap of Santa. Ladies and gentlemen, it's part of the grooming process. Beware of these creepers at the shopping center trying to touch your children, take pictures, cop a feel. Do you see that? It's pretty much the same everywhere you go. And people just kind of assume that, these people dressing up as Santa Claus are regular folks. Have you seen the people out there these days? There's no such thing as regular folks. You should beware of anyone that's trying to touch your children. Doesn't matter what kind of suit they're wearing. Doesn't matter what kind of position they hold. And I think that, people should definitely observe other people's private space, especially little children. But you get lots of touchy-feely characters out there that try to make it, seem innocent, but it's part of the grooming process. We've seen this time and time again. They get up close, and they even try to kiss the children, show affection, pet them, groom them, stroke their hair, and worse. And it's, usually people that have access. Sometimes it's the creepy Uncle Joe. Sometimes it's, the Boy Scout, commander. Sometimes it's the politician. You just can't trust any of these people out there, no matter how much.
This was an overthrow of government. This was an attempted overthrow, and a lot of people were in on it, and they got caught.
We are getting some breaking news. The new IG report is out there, and it confirms that the Steele dossier sources were unverified, uncorroborated, untrue, and that the investigation was politically motivated. It was a coup d'etat, and everybody knows it. And all of these Democrats are complicit, not only in abuse of power, planting evidence, corruption, racketeering, you name it, as well as trying to engineer an election. They're interfering with the 2020 election, trying to, plant more evidence against the current president. But what can be done, ladies and gentlemen, with these pedophiles that are everywhere? They're nested in every branch of government. And the response by the FBI, of course, was, we're just going to fine-tune our policy. They've held nobody accountable for what's going on. Nobody's been arrested, fired, raided like many of the other people that we've seen, Roger Stone, Julian Assange, and the like. So no raids against the evildoers, just raids against the good guys. It's one big cult of death, and you're not in it, ladies and gentlemen. But you are being victimized by this cult, this new world order. They're poisoning the food, the air, the water. Might sound a little difficult to believe, but it's true. Our food is illegal in most other countries. You can see them spraying you like bugs every day. The geoengineering, the terraforming, and the like. And, they're dosing the water. They're spiking the vaccines. It's a nightmare out there. They're making it mandatory, like this Mark of the Beast chip that's coming your way. It's going to be mandatory. The brain chip mandatory, face scanning mandatory, and the like. And soon you'll be giving your blood. You'll be selling your soul just to stay afloat out there. And that's the name of the game. It's 24/7 product placement for the dark side on the television, on the news, in the music, in the movies, you name it. They're promoting the devil 24/7. They're promoting anti-Christian ideologies 24/7. And they're in it together like a bunch of Charlie Manson groupies, like a bunch of Santa Clauses, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Santa is an anagram for the devil as well. It's trying to replace what that season's about. And they groom the children with the gifts and the promises of rewards if they're good, if they remain silent and complicit in their imaginary world of Santa Claus, the man in the big red suit. That's what the devil looks like. It looks like the Santa Claus promising you love and toys out there, ladies and gentlemen, but they just want to rape you. They just want to take advantage of you. These people are dirty to the core, and it shows. They're all a bunch of bad Santas out there. They're all a bunch of dirty Santas out there, a bunch of serial killers, lurking in the shadows, in disguise, plotting your demise. That's what these people are up to. And for fun, for kicks, they're out there basically raping, molesting, killing your children. You saw the recent reports, white vans hunting children and selling them for body parts. Not only do they rape them, but then they butcher them and sell off the body parts, like the movie Hostel or some crazy shit like that. And the amount of people that are implicated just in the Epstein case is enormous. And it's not just like your average Joe. We're talking about former presidents, current presidents, VPs and the like, celebrities, actors, other types of politicians and bureaucrats. The entire system is implicated in this cult of death, and it's not your imagination. They're whacking witnesses like Epstein. They're locking up whistleblowers like Assange. And, if you think that's kind of weird, they're rolling out the death towers in everybody's neighborhood. So you just have to wonder, whose side are these people on? The IG report comes out. Yeah, it's, tell us something that we don't know. What are you going to do about it? That's the thing. They're always waiting for the next report. They're always waiting to see what happens. And the scam. It's like when people owe you money, they're like, yeah, get a hold of me next week. I'm working on it. Everything looks good. We're real close. You know what I mean? And it's just bad news. It's just bad news. The whole thing's bad news. And I know a lot of people out there, they want to believe the television. They want to think that this time is different. It's not different. We're getting the same kind of stuff. The only thing that's really different is that you actually like what this guy has to say. But, you start peeling away the layers of the onion there, and it's starting to stink. And look, it's a tough situation because nobody likes, the alternative. Nobody wants to vote for the Democrats. Nobody wants to support anything other than what's on the table, what's on the menu right now. You're settling for McDonald's, ladies and gentlemen. You're settling for GMOs, for fluoride, for death towers, for geoengineering. What about all that stuff? What about 9/11 truth? What about Obama is ISIS? What about all these other Gladio B events? What about them trying to start World War III, and the like? Chemical weapons attacks in Syria. When are you going to hold people accountable instead of just being a yes man out there? Ladies and gentlemen, they hire Acosta, the prosecutor for the Epstein case, and he becomes Department of Labor. How did he work at the Labor Department? Why did he go to the Department of Labor? Why not the Department of Justice? This guy was a lawyer for the Department of Justice. Why does he end up as, Department of Labor? It was a reward. It was a reward. And there's all sorts of, pay to play going on out there, but it's mostly, children that are being exchanged, or prostitutes, or, drugs or money and the like. And it's just, one big, mafia, one big cartel, one big organized crime syndicate, known as the New World Order, but it's really the occult, and they're out there hunting your children, trying to snatch your children, groom them. They're grooming them in schools right now with all of these, transition hours with the, local LGBT chapters and affiliates. It's worse than you can possibly imagine. They got the Luciferian after-school programs. They've got, nothing but sex ed for these kids these days with some devolution out there. And truly devolution is a dark-sided idea. And the law of biogenesis has proven that life can only come from life for over 100 years. There's no chemical pathway from primordial soup to the simplest form of life. It's right there in the DNA. takes megabytes of information and DNA to produce the simplest form of life. You can't just spontaneously generate that, ladies and gentlemen. Law of biogenesis, check it out. And they deceive people on purpose to keep them in the dark. That way their whole perspective on life is basically tainted, skewed, and misinformed. And if you think that 2 + 2 = 5 your whole life, then basically everything, every decision you make is really going to be impacted by that failure in logic. And that's thanks to our public schools. They're teaching them Common Core instead of just regular math, and they're just messing these kids up like you can't even believe. Autism is through the roof. It's just a nightmare out there. And again, they're grooming and molesting your children wherever they can. This is a big wake-up call for people out there. Ban the Santa Claus. Don't bring your kids to these pedophiles at the shopping centers. Whatever you do, don't tell your kids lies about imaginary men that can touch them and give them gifts and the like. It should be stranger danger. You should be telling the kids the truth out there, and not be part of the system that is indoctrinating and brainwashing our kids. They're basically using people in the worst kind of way here. Your children become perfect strangers as you hand them off to be wards of the state. The state raises your kids, and you basically get to feed them and put them to bed. That's your role. It doesn't get more dystopian, Orwellian than that. And that's just part of the process of grooming the next generation. And this state, this government, this situation that we got going on here in the country right now, it's one big cult. The people that run corporations, the media, the movies, and the like, it's one big cult. It's one small group, and they've all got this same mindset. And if you're not part of that cult, then you're excluded from their world. And this is just the beginning of the end, ladies and gentlemen. Truly, it is the pages of the Bible playing out before our very eyes. And if you knew what these people had in store for you, you'd fight them with everything you had now, because they're going to lock down society much more than they already have, and it'll just be impossible to escape their program, that Georgia Guidestone's program, that assimilation program. They're going to chip you with like the Neuralink and plug you into the Matrix. There'll be no escape, ladies and gentlemen. They're building walls around you, death towers around you, like this geofence. And, you won't go anywhere where there's no 5G, where there's no TV, where there's no McDonald's. What would you do? How would you survive? And, people are fully dependent on this system, whether they like it or not. Everybody's got to go to the grocery store. Everybody's got to go to the gas station. Everybody's got to go to the restaurant. And that's where they get you. The death towers, the GMOs, the fluoride, and the like. And you want to bring your kids to these mass indoctrination centers? Well, you got to get the vaccines as well. And they're hiding the true impacts of their eugenics programs. The whole thing's a fraud. The whole thing's a scam. If they wanted to lock up these, people responsible for this coup, they would have done it. They're just, waiting for the next report. They're waiting for the next time. And while you're, waiting to see what happens on the television, up goes another death tower. Another 1 million tons of their eugenics program is sprayed into the atmosphere. They've dumped more barrels of fluoride into the water and the like. It's just, one thing after another, ladies and gentlemen. And, look. Either people are going to go out silently into the night, or they're going to go out with a fight. And I think that eventually people are going to see how bad they've been screwed, how much time they've lost over the last 4 years, and realize that we're now so much closer to the Matrix, to Terminators and RoboCops, to some sort of Elysium nightmare society. You can tell. I mean, these Democrats, they don't care about what's fair. They don't care about what's right. They're in it to win it. Like a bunch of Charlie Manson groupies, and they're gonna dose you like Jonestown, ladies and gentlemen. That's what these people do. That's who we're dealing with. I mean, look at them. It's the pure definition of evil, and they're always trying to molest your kids. And despite what you hear about, the Epstein case, they found a bunch of pictures of little girls, little children, 7 years old and the like, naked. Look, we're dealing with more than just some kind of pimp with supermodels, out there on his yacht in his private island and the like. This goes beyond anyone's imagination. You see the massive cover-up in the networks. You see the massive cover-up at the Department of Justice. You see all the people connected to this case. You see them like whack the dude in prison. When he's like 10 feet away from the guards, the cameras go out. They take out the cellmate and the like. Look, this is some serious stuff going on out there. People should be concerned, because it's not just the Epstein case. It's not just the WikiLeaks. It's not just Julian Assange. It's not just the censorship, the mass censorship on the internet. These people are after the whole world, and not only owning the world, but getting rid of the people that aren't going to be part of their world. And it's right there in the Georgia Guidestones. These people mean to exterminate you.
This was
They're not your friend. And if you think them trying to overthrow the government is bad, you think them planting evidence was bad, just wait until you see what they have in store for you next. These people aren't going to stop with no. They're not going to stop with being exposed. And until they annihilate and assimilate everyone, they're not going to stop. These people are soft killing everyone right now. It's as if they're coming into your home, sprinkling it with all sorts, your food with all sorts of poisons, and injecting your water softener with all sorts of toxins and the like, and you're just letting them get away with it. They're building the big death tower down the street, and you're just letting them get away with it, ladies and gentlemen. So push back, fight back, go to city council, stop the 5G out there, lift the mandated vaccines from your school district, stop the fluoride. There's a lot of action that can be done just in your city, and you'll make new friends in the process, and it'll be a domino effect, one city after another. Be involved out there, like and share. Feel free to mirror this content wherever you might find it on our various pages on ScrewTube or Fakebook and the like. And check out our website, stfnreport.com. Of course, we're listener supported, so if you want to help us reach more people, be sure to buy us a beer, hook us up over at patreon.com/STF News. Till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.